Hey folks, Simon from Velo Performance. Now if you're new, welcome to the channel, and if you're a regular visitor, listen, thank you so much for subscribing and being part of the Velo Performance journey this year. This week the channel hit over 5,000 followers, which has kind of blown my mind. Now, I'm never going to be Mr. Beast with those sort of numbers, but bear in mind, I'm also not trying to be a YouTuber. I'm a 53-year-old coach making videos to help people understand evidence-based nutrition and get the best from their training. So I'd just like to say a big thank you to everybody that's liked those videos, shared them with their friends, and actually jumped in and asked me questions, because that's just been such a cool way to sort of talk to you guys and help you understand more about your own training. Anyhow, enough about that for just now. What I wanted to chat about this week is two things that I've learned about my training that's really helped me get even more out of it. And I wanted to talk about something that I've changed that's completely reduced all my terrible bouts of insomnia to just every now and again. Righty, let's talk about what I've changed in my training. What I've been doing is working off a 12-day specific focus, having 5 days very easy with a few extra recovery days, and then repeating that. The focus in this block has been VO2. So the way I've worked it is I've done a VO2 session, 4 days later, some hill reps, 4 days later, a VO2 session, and then I've given myself 5 days very easy riding, or as I say, giving myself an extra recovery day off, and then getting back into that repeatable pattern of training and building and growing my intensity from the sessions that I'm planning myself. And what I found by doing it that way is I'm giving myself a lot more recovery time. It's going to take me longer to get fitter. But what I've also noticed by giving myself this recovery time is given me the opportunity to go into those training sessions which are tough and really give them my best effort. Whereas before, if I was just trying to follow my normal pattern of week to week, I was just not recovering as much as I normally do. And by doing it this way, I've definitely noticed a difference. That shift change, I think, is going to stay with me right up until the point that I go to Tenerife. I know that if I do it that way, I'm going to get better quality training out and feel like I'm really moving forward. I'll talk about this thing that I've changed in my sleeping routine that's made a huge difference in a bit, but let's talk about where this channel is going and some of the cool things that have happened on it that have really projected it forward in 2023. The third most popular video on the channel has been about strength training and what I've been doing once I've got back into my strength training after the sort of latter part of the summer, and how I sort of reset my strength training. And it was a good insight for anybody who wants to get back into the gym on how to set their training up. The second biggest performing video was what I'm doing in my own training over the winter to see me in more powerful shape by the time I get to TD in Tenerife in February. There's some really good points that I make in this video about why I think we need to train differently, try and get my words out, for older cyclists, and why we shouldn't be thinking that old rhetoric of let's ride slow and steady over the winter. So I think, look, I'll try and pick up those points and I'll put them into this video now. The thing I keep trying to get across to people is that if you've been riding a bike for a long time, you probably have a very large aerobic pool. What we need to focus on, especially as older athletes, in my mind, is working on your VO2 and building your ability to put out raw power and strength. And you can only really do that in the gym. So let's jump onto my training peaks and I'll show you what I've been doing over the last 3 weeks. Week 1 was test week. So I did a Zwift ramp test and posted 296 as an FTP. My main focus in the gym is to lift as heavy as I can, focusing on squats and deadlifts, push and pull and core. And I've added a new core conditioning session which is focused on cross-rotational core work and lower and upper abs. The main focus of this block is VO2 to raise my aerobic ceiling and to get some power back, layered with aerobic riding through the midweek and at the weekends. And also the second focus is my hill reps, just to rebuild my hill climbing speed. I think it's good to point out here that my training is not pitch perfect week to week. Sometimes things get in the way, and neither does yours need to be. It just needs to be as consistent as you can possibly make it. So those kind of educational videos have really worked, and I think they've really resonated with the people that have watched them and interacted with them with them because they've asked me some decent questions, and from the back of those I've made the short educational videos which have been really well received. But some of the other things I want to do with this channel is do a bit more vlogging. So am I trying to be more of a YouTuber? Yeah, I'm going to keep the educational stuff coming because I know that people like it and I enjoy putting it out there. Velo is all about trying to help people get the best out of their training and give the best information that is evidence-based, as much as my knowledge and experience and all the research that I'm doing can give you. But also I quite enjoy doing the video vlogging kind of stuff to take people on the journey. So going to Rocacorba was a really fun video to put together, and doing Land's End John O'Groat. Do you know what? That video is 20 minutes long and it's had just under 5,000 views. That was a tough thing to do, Land's End John O'Groat. It was a tough thing to do to put that video together, but I quite enjoy putting these together and learning that skill. So this is something I'm going to do a bit more of, just so you guys can get a flavour of who I am and what I'm up to. Next year I'm doing the Inferno Swiss, which is going to be a massive ride. 2 days riding around, 187 miles a day with 8,500 meters of climbing on both days. Just saying that out loud is a bit nuts. But if I can film that and show you the ups and downs of that ride, I would hope that inspires anybody who's hitting 50, 53 and onwards, 40, 43 and onwards, that what I'm doing with my training and how I approach my nutrition is showing people that as they get older, they can do more and be stronger on their bikes, fitter, look leaner, all these sort of things, be healthier, focus on doing the things that are gonna help them have their best life right up until their 60s, 70s and 80s and further. That's the whole point of Velo. That's why I created it. It's to help people get the best out of their training and nutrition so they have a long-term health and lifespan. And the biggest video was what I'm doing in my 50s to be as fast and as strong and still be able to post decent times up Sarcolobra of 31:33, which is something that this year I'm pretty proud of because I've been focusing a lot on doing the long distance stuff, but also making sure that I've been doing all the power work on the bike and focusing in the gym. And both of those training principles have paid off really well. And the one thing that I'm pretty proud of is growing the podcast out, which has been uploaded onto the channel as well. And last week I had an interview with my first pretty high profile guest, Rennie McGregor, all about nutrition, insulin, carbohydrates, and the current trend of continuous blood glucose monitors, and why we think they might be the worst decision for people's nutrition ever, and evidence behind them, and what we think is the problematic side of it. And it's such a fascinating conversation. That's going to be published in January, so keep an eye out for that. Righty, let's talk about how I've sorted out my insomnia, because anybody knows me, I've had terrible insomnia for a long time and I've never been able to fix it. I've tried lots of things, taking out coffee, going for walks in the evenings, making sure that my environment in my room is perfect, etc., etc. Here's the thing that I've changed that's really worked. And I've realized for a long time, I've been guilty as a teenager for this. I've basically got rid of all my tech. So my mobile phone is plugged in the office and it's left there, and I'm using this. Because I couldn't sleep, I'd get restless and I'd start to stare at the ceiling thinking, well, this isn't working, and I'd start looking at my phone and Googling stuff. And before I know it, 30 minutes had gone past, an hour's gone past, and I've lost that hour of sleep. Now, I hadn't realised, but that was a bad habit that really needed to be kicked into touch. And it wasn't until I bought this and threw all my electrics out of the bedroom that I realised that actually when I was waking up, because I didn't have that habit or the ability to continue that habit, I just rolled over and went to sleep again. And very quickly I realised that I was sleeping more soundly, I was sleeping longer, and actually over the last month or so, I've realized that I've been so tired that my body's been playing catch up, and it's probably another reason why I'm feeling so energized in training. My sleep patterns are back to almost normal. I have the odd night here and there where I wake up, but the thing I'm not doing is looking at any tech. I'm allowing myself to rest and I go back to sleep again. So my bouts of insomnia are pretty much a thing of the past. Yep, this 10-pound clock has changed everything for the better. Righty, that's it for this week. I just want to say again, this channel has grown slowly over the last 2 years that I've been building it. And if you've subscribed and you've interacted with me, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. As I say, I'm not trying to be a YouTuber, but I think maybe I am, because if I can show people as they age, they can get stronger, they can be healthier, they get excited about taking on new challenges, then bring it on. That's what I want to do. Look, I'm 53 and I don't intend to slow down anytime soon. And if that's your jam, then hey, look, keep watching, or if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. Right, look, I'm off to Calpe next week and it's heading towards Christmas. So have a great Christmas and I'll be back in a couple of weeks.